Welcome back, you guys. So let's start. Let's not hold it off until too late. So you guys probably are here because you want to know how I did and how much I weighed. So let's see. This morning, I weighed 261 pounds, 261.9 pounds. So basically 262. I'll just round it up. And then last week, what was last week's date? It was I think I did it on the 14th. I think on the 14th, I was at 262.9. So basically, I dropped a pound. So not, I didn't reach my 2 pound goal, which I'm a little bit bummed about. But I mean, the day before, yesterday, I weighed at 261.1. So if I had maintained that, I definitely would have reached it. So that means that I'm I think I have to like be careful about the things I eat, and then um, keeping up with my intermittent fasting. And so um, like this week, some things that really helped me out was I went to the local grocery store and I got myself rotisserie chicken, and I think a serving was, let me see, I have it written down here. A serving size is 84 grams, and I didn't know what 84 grams was. Um, but I have a food scale that I got like several years back when I tried losing weight before. And so I just got like a bowl, zeroed it out, and then as I was like watching something on the internet, um, I just basically like took apart the chicken and like weighed out like a close approximately to 84 grams. I wasn't too like it has to be exactly 84 grams. I just wanted like a ballpark so I knew about how much I was eating. And then I found out like what I've been basically eating because I get that stuff a lot. I was basically eating like slightly over two servings, and so I was super surprised about that. And so that wasn't too crazy. Um, I think one of the reasons why like my weight went up from 261.1 to like um, about a pound more was that day I stopped by at the grocery store and I got myself some shaved beef, and I got some uh, green leaf lettuce, and then I had some sesame oil mixed with salt and pepper, and I just ate that. But like instead of only eating like a half of a pound, I ate like a full, almost, I think like the entire pound of shaved beef. And so I don't think it's fat. I think it's probably like, to be honest, I think it's just stool. So like when my body expels it out, I'll be okay. I doubt it's um anything related to like fat or anything like that, and it's gonna be long lasting. So I'll be able to shed it off. I'm still um even though I had to increase, I'm still averaging half a pound a day. And so I feel like if I can maintain half or more a pound a day, I'm still on track. And so even though it went up on average, I'm still doing good. Um, I think if you're trying to lose weight, you should do something like that too. Use an average. That way, like if you have a sudden spike, uh, if I remember, I'll try to put on the screen um, the graph that shows like two major spikes that went up, but even with those spikes, I was still once I came back down, it was I went back to the over half a pound weight loss on average, and so that let me know I was still on track. So those spikes can, especially for someone that's trying to lose weight, I'm sure like those spikes in weight can really like make a person worried that they're doing something wrong. But by having keeping track of the average, that lets you know like whether or not you're still doing what you're supposed to be doing. And when I dropped back down, I went back. I found out those two spikes were the cause was primarily dealing with water, just excess water that was in my body. Similar to like the last time I had the cheat meal, where like on Sunday night, I just kept on having to use um, the restroom, and then I dropped weight. That's the same thing that happened. So like you'll see like the spike that goes up, and you have a sudden spike down, and that's how I got to like the 261.1 was when I dropped from a spike, and that was purely just like me using the restroom and um, just getting rid of the excess water in my body. So, which made me think like as I'm losing weight, um, I'm not sure like I'm sure there's a certain amount that's fat being decreased, but for the most part, I think it's just like the excess water that's being stored somewhere in my body is just being like shedding off. And so that's contributing to like such a massive weight loss. It's just me like my body not storing as much water as it used to. Um, I'm sure like a doctor would think otherwise, but like as someone who has no experience in the medical field or anything like that, this is just my amateurish thinking that is this drastic weight loss is purely just related to a mixture, a small percentage of fat decreasing, and also just water, as I'm just expelling it by going to the restroom. And so, and like I see that the reason why I think that is because like I'll wake up in the morning, I'll weigh myself, and then I'll come back from the gym, and then I'll be like half a pound to a pound and a half, sometimes even like 2 pounds less. And just thinking about it, I was like, okay, so I woke up, I went to the restroom, I weighed myself, then got ready, went to the gym. At the gym, I used the restroom again. Then I worked out. I probably sweated, and so that's some water loss. And then after going back to the locker room, I used the restroom again, and then I came back home, and then I had like a pound to like a pound and a half decrease. And you'd be surprised like how um, much water weighs. I mean, I have an empty. This is 16.9 fluid ounces, and that's about a pound. And so, just this amount, like just the size of my hand, um, that just lets you know, like when you use a restroom and like you're just expelling out that liquid, that could just be like a full, depending on like how much is in your bladder, um, that could just be a full 16-ounce water bottle that like just left your system, and that's a pound that you just decreased. And so, after thinking about that, I was thinking, yeah, that's probably just water. A lot of like as people lose weight, it's probably just water that's being expelled out. Now that's just my guess, my hypothesis or whatever. I'm not quite sure. Theory, whatever you want to call it. Um, that weight loss, a large factor in the decrease in weight is related to just water. Because water is so heavy. Um, like I don't want to say like I know some people they overestimate like how much muscle is being built, but like through my research and like talking to trainers, like muscle takes a long time. Like a pound of muscle, I've heard some like one person told me like it could be like a month, like several weeks to build up a pound. Could be less. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I'm not a professional person at this, and so it's merely a lot of it's anecdotal evidence I keep on hearing, or like people telling me stuff, which is anecdotal evidence. Um, and so yeah, that's just what I thought about it. And I'm thinking like if it takes so long to build muscle, like I feel like losing fat must be similar in terms of like how how long it takes to lose a pound of fat. And I kind of think like a lot of like um, trainers or whatever you want to call them, they might be hyping up how much fat is lost. But since I'm losing the weight, like that's why I'm thinking like the only thing I can think of if if building muscle and building fat is just as difficult or like it takes a significant time, like a week or something like that, then like how can I be losing so much weight? So it must the only thing I can think of is it must either be a combination of stool or or water. As like the waste inside your body is being expelled out, um, like you lose a lot of weight fast. So talking about like things related to diets and like what the type of foods I'm eating and like the whole intermittent fasting thing. So this week, I mean, I've already been like paying attention to YouTubers in the health in the fitness community talking about stuff and like especially for intermittent fasting, but someone that I discovered is um the Obesity Code written by Jason Dr. Jason Fung. Um he's he's been like really great at like explaining things that I didn't really know about. Um I'm going to include a link to one of his talks at I believe it's a CrossFit convention or conference or whatever you want to call it, where he talks about a lot of stuff that's inside this book. Um, the Obesity Code, Unlocking the Secrets of Weight Loss. He talks about it inside of the conference. And it's like an hour and a half long video that's on YouTube, so it's like free to watch. If you're not unsure that you want to buy the book, like at least watch the video, because he gives out a lot of valuable information. And I didn't really think of I never really considered how much like our body's hormones have contribute um to weight loss. Like how like I think about like diets like keto or Atkins or the carnivore or I can't remember any other diets. Um, and I can think about exercising like weightlifting, cardio, and all that stuff. Um, but this one, he he like explains how um, a lot of work that our body is doing is dictated by the hormones that are inside of our body. And so instead of fighting our hormones when trying to lose weight, we should be leveraging it. And so a good example he gave was he consistently like uses the example of saying like there's a proximal cause and there's a ultimate cause. So if you're inside your house and the temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, I believe that's the correct conversion. Um, I mean, that's cold, right? And so, like, if you want to heat up your place and you're just thinking about, okay, what's the issue that I need to solve? I'm cold, so what's the solution? Let's bring in heaters. And so that's like a proximal cause. Like, um, you're it's cold, and so to solve that, you're going to bring in heaters. And so when you bring in heaters, they're going to heat up the room. But then, if it goes above 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, the thermostat's going to kick in. And so it's going to start cooling the house because it's set at that level. And so um, your, the house is going to be battling it out. Like the heaters versus the HVAC system is going to be fighting each other, and one of them is going to lose. Most likely, it's for this example, the heaters lose, and so the heater would be like um, exercising and dieting, like calories in, calories out type of paradigm, and so that loses. And then your HVAC and thermostat, they win. That's your body's natural homeostasis like system. I might be using words that like are incorrect, so like let me know in the comments. Um, I'm like I'll probably end up listening. I'm thinking about buying the book actually and like taking notes, like highlighting it out and taking notes in the margin, so I have a better understanding about it. Um, but he talks about like since the ultimate cause is the thermostat being set at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, then you just need to increase the temperature on the thermostat, and the HVAC system will kick in and your house will get warm, like set at like 70 degrees, whatever. I don't, that's Fahrenheit. I don't know what is Celsius. Um, and so yeah, like by increasing the setting on the thermostat, like you let your the natural systems inside your body, which is the house, go up. And so the things he talks about is um, a hormone that contributes is to weight gain or fat increase is insulin. And so um, when insulin coming out of the pancreas is being excreted out from the pancreas, it tells it goes into cells, let the cells know to start storing glucose. I think I'm getting this right. Storing glucose, and then that increases your total fat percentage. And then like I'm trying to like not mess this up, so like I wasn't planning on talking about this, but like it's so interesting that like watch the video because he does a better job explaining it. So like since insulin is the fat storage hormone, then the obvious solution would be to decrease insulin level. And so um one of the ways, I haven't gotten to this part, so he might be talking about it, but like one of the ways that you can decrease from what I've like his other talks relate to intermittent fasting, he I believe he mentions this, is intermittent fasting. When you're during the fasting period, insulin goes down, and so when insulin goes down, that signals to your body to start using uh, the stored fat. And another example he gives, like this is in the video, but he gives an example of like you have a fridge, and then you have um, a freezer storage unit, and so and he's talking about the difference between calories in, calories out versus the hormonal paradigm, um, where if you're constantly eating and then you're going like you're expending energy from your natural like um basal basal metabolic rate. I believe that's the correct term. Or it's going to the gym and exercising. You're basically taking the food that's going inside the refrigerator is going, and that represents like your glycogen and other like easy to access um, storage, not fat. So then it goes into the refrigerator, and like as you're using it, it goes out. But your fat, which is the freezer units, that stores all of that's where all your fat is, and so um, it can only access the freezer unit if there's nothing inside of the refrigerator. And so during the fasting period, it's basically your body redirects like where the energy is coming from, and that's from uh, your fat storage. And so as you're going about your day and like your body's constantly like doing its own thing, instead of using the food that you're constantly eating, it's now accessing your fat. And so that's like he gave like I think it's like in the example he said like it's studying for a test that has 95 percent in math and 5% English, and like spending 50% of your time studying English, and that's why like you're failing the exam is because you're concentrating on like exercise would be like the 5%, and then the rest of the stuff is like your diet. And so why waste so much time on the small percentage of stuff and like ignore the huge percentage of stuff? So like this would be like the from here would be the 85%, and then this would be the 5. I don't know. I don't know how to do. Yeah. So and for the most part, like I feel that's what I've been seeing, because like yeah, I've been talking about like water weight and all that stuff, but like there's gotta be a reason why like I'm continuously going down when I'm continuously hitting that half a pound a day average. And I mean I've been doing intermittent fasting where like on average I'm doing around like 18 hours, and then I have like a 6 hour window, which I don't even use the full 6 hours. I just eat until I'm full. So I might be doing like one meal a day, but it's not intentionally like that. Sometimes I eat another during that 6 hour window. Like today I did the same thing. So like I had my fast and I went to the gym doing my fast. I got back home and I cooked myself like the shaved beef, washed the green leaf lettuce, and then had some like Asian condiments, I guess you'd call them. Um, now it's fermented soybean paste, um, and I just ate that. And then also I had tofu, which the tofu I make is super simple. I just like cut up the tofu cubes, put water in. I do a dash of soy sauce, a dash of sesame seed oil, um, some fish oil, red pepper flakes, and then soybean fermented soybean paste. I just dump it in. I just cook that, and it's just done. It's like it's one of the cheapest and easiest meals I have ever cooked. And the other one was even easier because you just had to cook the beef and then just wash the green leaf lettuce. That was it. Um, and so um, I ate I ate that, and like later on, like an hour or so later, I went to go see a movie, and at the movie, I only had like a small amount of popcorn, like super small amount. Like back in the past, I'd eat like a whole bucket of popcorn, but this one was like a couple of handfuls. But that was still within my 6 hour window, and so, um, yeah. So like, is eating popcorn good? Not really. Should I have? Probably not. but at least it was during that 6 hour window. And so I still have the 18 hours of fasting, which I think in the book he talks about like it can take like up to like 3 hours for insulin to like decrease in your body. And the remainder of the time, um, like this isn't, I don't believe this part is in the book, but I've heard his talk and other people talk about this with in regards to intermittent fasting. You have the 3 hours, and after that, as your body's just going along and doing its business, burning like needing energy, instead of having the food that a lot of people, if they're eating like 6 meals a day or 10 meals a day, you have that constant food coming in, and so like your body's just using the food that's coming in for the energy that's going out, and also like spiking your insulin, and so it's letting your body know to store the excess into as fat. If your insulin is down, then when your body needs energy, it's it's getting it from its storage, which is the fat. And so yeah, like since I've been seeing this result, that's letting me know like this idea that he's going over inside of this book. Um, it's not just it's not just some like fad. It's like actual like science, like medical science, and he gives plenty of um, studies and goes over the effects, and like he makes strong cases. Like um, he talks about like type 1, type 2 diabetes, and so like I didn't really know the difference between the different types. Like I always thought of diabetics. I realized is actually type 2, and then type 1. So like type 1 is the pancreas only being able to produce a dangerous low amount of insulin for the body. And so, and then type 2 is the pancreas excreting too much insulin into the body. So you have these two different scenarios, and he talks about like what's the physical appearance of the two types. So like type 1, since the person doesn't have like only has a little amount of insulin, they're really thin. But people with type 2, since they have a lot of insulin, they're overweight. Um, I didn't even think about it that way. I was like, oh wow, that's a example that like you just have to like look, and like there's for at least for me, I know people with type 2, and for the most part, yeah, they do have a lot of weight on them. Um, and explain the chapter was like I can make you fat, and he explains how if you were to inject insulin into a person, they would naturally just gain weight, not muscle, just fat. Um, and so he makes a really good case about how in order to lose weight, um, and not fight our bodies, is create a situation where insulin is down, and then your body will naturally just handle the rest. And he talks about how like that's why the diet, the majority of the calories being burned is just like your body's natural, um, like your resting metabolic rate or basal metabolic rate. I think they're the same thing. Like the amount of calories that your body burns on a day to day basis, just like breathing, keeping your organs good, um, like awake, like your mind thinking and stuff like that. So like if you add that up all up, he said like the average person's like 2,500 calories or something like that. Um, of course, like obese person's gonna be higher, and so he talks about how like that 2,500 calories. Let's say like if, like you watching this, let's say like you burn 2,500 calories a day, and so um, if you're in a situation where you have no like really low insulin naturally, so not for diabetic reasons, but like your insulin's naturally low, then that 2,500 calories, the energy has to come from somewhere. So since it's not coming from food that you're immediately eating, it has to come from your fat. And so your body's going to naturally burn that. And then he also talks about how like metabolism isn't a constant; it's always like fluctuating. And inside in the book and also in the video, he talks about how like if you go on the calories in calories out method, for your body eventually, if you have like a deficit, right? Like if you decrease calorie intake by 500 calories, let's say like you decrease by 10%, then your metabolism will decrease by the same amount. And so it's almost a situation where like you can't succeed with losing weight because um, let's say like you mess up and you eat a little bit more, your metabolism is going instantly go back up. It's going to stay at the decreased 10% minus 10%, and so like that's an excess, and then that'll cause you to uh, gain gain weight. And so um, it's not because like, and he talks about how like as a doctor, he initially thought it was just like an issue of willpower, that people on diets weren't didn't have strong willpower to like continue on with their diets. And um like but then he after understanding the importance of like hormones inside the body contribute to like weight gain and weight loss, he understood that it's not an issue of willpower, because like obese people want to lose weight, um, who are actively trying to lose weight want to lose weight. And so it's not that they're not trying, because they are. It's because they're not given the correct information that can help them. And so they feel like they're doing something wrong, and like other people who know that these people are trying to lose weight, when they see that they eventually fail, um, they like judge the people for like not sticking it out and um, failing to lose weight when they're in a situation where they would have almost undoubtedly failed. And so you're just setting up people for failure underneath the calories in, calories out method. And he also talks about how um, to equate 10 calories of oil, like if you ate like fat, to like 10 calories of sugar, it has different effects inside the body. So like 10 calories of fat, um, it won't really spike. It won't really have an effect on your insulin levels. Like your insulin won't go up because of fat. But if you ate 10 calories of sugar, your insulin levels will definitely spike. And so if it spikes, then that means that your body is letting your body know that we need to store stuff. And so that's what's going to happen. And so um, instead of fighting with the thermostat, using that example again, um, he's saying instead of trying to fight the thermostat, why not um, why not just increase the temperature that the thermostat is set at, and then you won't have to worry about it. So you're leveraging your own body's tools to help you lose weight. And I don't know, that like really like resonated with me, and I feel like that's the way to success, especially with weight loss. And then as I was like thinking about that, and then I was making food and stuff, it also came to my mind about how um like especially if you're doing intermittent fasting, like it's not expensive. It's actually super cheap to eat the correct foods. And so like these are like um I keep on hearing people mention about how they it's just cheaper um, if you don't have money, it's cheaper to go to the grocery store and like pick up like bread or snacks or soup, canned soup or canned vegetables or ramen noodles. It's so cheap. And sure, like ramen noodles is cheap. Like especially I believe it's like Maruchan like can be as cheap as like 50 cents a package. But then if you're thinking about like doing intermittent fasting, like for me, I tend to only eat like one meal. Sometimes two, but usually it's one on average. Um, and I think about the foods I eat. So like tofu. When I went to the Korean market, um, tofu was like uh $2 around, and um that in itself would be filling. I could probably just eat that and I'll be good. And then I was also thinking about like at the grocery store, um, ribeye is like $10, around $10 to $12 a pound. I've usually been good at hitting it when it's about $10 a pound, and just one of those is like I think it's like over like 1,500 calories. So if you just ate one ribeye, like that's if you want to have a deficit also, like you're done. Like you just eat that. Like don't cut out the fat and stuff, and just cut it up. Like put it inside the oven. Um, I usually it only takes like 30 minutes for me to like broil a medium rare ribeye. Just salt and pepper on both sides, and then if you were to eat that entire like 16-ounce steak, um, that's probably like over 1,500 calories. Um, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments section. But like I tend to like cut that thing in half because like that's way too much for me. Um, and so like if you cut in half, that's $5, and you had $2 in tofu. So that's $7. And let's say like you want like green leaf lettuce, like that's only like a couple more dollars. Like you could like cut up the ribeye, dip in some sesame oil, and then put inside the green leaf lettuce. Maybe put some tofu inside green lettuce, just wrap it up and just eat it. And that's probably like less than $10 um, for a single meal. Now, yes, compared to ramen, like 50 cents, $10, obviously 50 cents is cheaper. But then like what is that ramen doing for you? It's all carbs, um, and there's almost no nutritional value, and it's definitely going to spike your insulin. And so, um, if you're already someone that's obese, like you're already going to have. He also talks about like insulin resistance, and so like, that's like where like you have a abnormally you'll eventually have a abnormally high amount of insulin, and so like that's probably going to all become fat, um, because like that package, I think it's like only half of a package. I think it's a serving, but most people just eat like a single packet or maybe like two packages, and so you just blown through like um, a decent amount of calories, and then that's not really not filling. And so like usually, like back when I was overweight, like I mean I'm still overweight, but like back when before I was dieting, um, like that would not be satisfying to me. I'd have to like eat something else. It'd usually be more ramen at a later time, and so it's just this vicious cycle. And so, but then I know also some people who they go to like um, fast food places. So like at a McDonald's, like a combo meal could be like somewhere around $4 to like $8. That's for one meal, right? And so, um, that's like the French fries. That's just going not going to be good for you anyways. and then the hamburger patties or um, the breading on the chicken McNuggets or something like that. Those are things that like are going to spike your insulin, and so it's just going to go into your mouth and right into fat if you're not burning it off. Um, because and then on top of that, like most people are eating that like multiple times a day. Um, I mean, I've known people who eat like fast food like multiple times, at least 2 times a day. So that's already over $10. If you compared $10 of really good, like good macros, good micros, and then it's filling, um, and like you're only eating that, doing that window, let's say like 6 hour window, um, your body's going to like, instead of storing it as fat, it's probably just going to burn it up, and then whatever it doesn't use is probably just going to like expel it out. And so during the 18-hour window, you're probably just going to be burning through the fat easily. And so yeah, like these are just like, it made me think about how like a lot of people say like it's really expensive to eat healthy, but then if you're doing like an intermittent fasting or like a 1 meal a day, like I think it's OMAD it's called, um yeah, like 5 to 10, like you don't even have to have the steak. Like if you just had a tofu and some green lettuce and something like that, that's like $5. And so the steak just adds additional $5 to that, the half of a steak. Or you could get shaved beef that I got at my grocery store. That was $5 a pound, right? 16 ounces for a pound. And so if you only ate half of that, so 8 ounces, that's like 250. And so 250 for the meat, let's say $2 for the lettuce, so it's like $5, and then additional $2 for the tofu, $7. So that's $3 cheaper than if you got steak, and that'd be extremely more filling, and it'd be able to last you during the entire fast. Like you won't be going to the refrigerator to look for food during your fasting period. Um, you'll be good, and the next day you'll just repeat the process, and then you'll start losing weight just like I am. Um, and then if you do get if you're doing that also, like while you're eating, if you're drinking water too, on top of that, like that, it gives you like a full feeling too. And so like um, tap water is super cheap, like I think like 10 cents a gallon or something. It's something ridiculous. And so if you just drink like 2 or 3 cups of water while you're eating, like you're just going to be feeling full extremely fast. And so not only are you eating something that's not going to be like easily converted into fat, and it's actually going to be used by your body also. Like protein will be used, like if you're working out, that's going to be used for your muscles and stuff like that. Um, and then the vegetables, uh, the carbs are going to be good for you inside the vegetables, and then the fiber is even like it's super good for you for like the bacteria that's inside of your large intestine, your colon. Um, it needs that, and so um, overall, that's like phenomenal. And like, or like the rotisserie chicken that I get, like that's that's like $5 to $7. I just eat like half of it. And you could put the other half inside the refrigerator, and that's also really filling too. And so, and if you combine that with like green leaf lettuce, I just really like green leaf lettuce, and that's why I keep on mentioning it. But like you could do like other vegetables, um, and then you can make stews. So like, um, if you follow my Discord or like my Twitter handle, I post like my recipes when like I get like a really big pot. I'll put in some tofu. I'll put in some um, soybean stock, sprouts. Yeah, soybean sprouts inside, and then some beef, um, and then I'll cook it up, and that lasts me like several days. Um, and so even though like the initial is high, but since I'm eating it over several days, um, that saves me money too. And so I'm actually saving money by eating healthy. And not only am I saving money, but I'm also losing weight. And so it's you get multiple benefits. And so I think like you just have to be smart about it. Um, if I lose ideas, sometimes I watch like YouTubers, especially bodybuilders, when they're doing like meal prepping, and I do that stuff. So like that helps give me inspiration for like what to eat, and like meal prepping I found is like super helpful, because during the week when you're working, like you may not have a lot of time, and so like you can just easily grab like a plastic container or like a Ziploc bag, take it to work, and when you're at work, like just throw it inside um, the microwave or something like that, and just cook it. Like a lot of the containers now like microwave friendly, and so probably not the Ziploc bag. Um, like you could, if your place like has bowls or something like that, like then you could like pour it out. Um, or like I had a friend that used to have like paper bowls that they would keep inside of like their work locker, and so you could have that like ready. So like you take the stuff that's inside the Ziploc bag, pour it out into the paper bowl, stick inside the microwave, and then like you just eat it, and then you got like a healthy meal, not that expensive, super convenient, and it's also like helping you lose weight, or maybe like not work at eat at work. So like you just have like your one meal day after you get out of work, um, and then like just plan out when your feeding window is, and then you'd still have that like 18 hours of, like let's say like you got your 8 hours of sleep, which you should be sleeping a healthy amount. I think it's like 9 to 8 hours, because inside the book he also mentioned about cortisol, the stress hormone, and that can like if you have um, I think he said chronic cortisol levels, chronic stress, can lead to spiking your insulin, because if I remember correctly, cortisol spikes your the glucose inside of your blood, which that's for like fight or flight response. Um, you need energy to like get you out of a dangerous situation, and so that's being used up. But if it's constantly you're getting stressed, then that's like it's converting stuff into glucose, and that's inside of your blood, and then your insulin goes like, wait a minute, there's too much glucose inside the blood, and so it activates, and that glucose gets stored into as fat, and so like having constant stress um, can can contribute to obesity, which is why I try to get at least like 8 hours to 9 hours of sleep um, every night, because I don't want my body um, to take the stress that's naturally piling up and just turn into fat. Like that would suck. Luckily, like I'm already like 3 hours past um, my fasting, into my fasting, so I should be good. But like, yeah, cortisol could, without you even eating anything, can take stuff, turn it into glucose inside your body, turn into glucose, and then like insulin spikes. And so like, even if I was fasting, um, like insulin could go up, and it's like naturally storing it into fat, and that's counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. And so you want low cortisol levels, and you want low insulin levels, and then naturally your body will just um, get shed away the fat, the water, and all that stuff, and you'll like lose weight and reach your goal better. And so, yeah, like this stuff I've been learning. I think it's important just because, like, I feel like as people, as a person, it's like it's good to constantly be learning about things. So, like, for my writing, um, like, I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, but I'm a web novel author, and so I have a website that's inside the description. You can read my web novel for free, um, and it's a um, the web novel is, if you watch anime, it's an isekai type where like the main character travels to another world, and also he has um, overpowered abilities, and so that's why it's called Creation: The Path of a God, because the character basically is a god with all his powers. And so if you want to check it out, it link is in the description below. But yeah, like as a writer, I'm constantly trying to improve my writing abilities. So I'm reading on and learning how to write better. I'm reading a lot of books or listening to audiobooks and seeing like how sentence structures are made, how the flow goes. For audiobooks, it's mainly about the flow because I can't see the sentences. If I buy Probably when I buy the book, I'll be if I read it, I'll be able to see the sentences and like see like how he structures his sentences, which might not be the best for like a fantasy web novel series, fantasy, sci-fi, all that stuff web novel, compared to like a medical type, but it's still like improving my writing. So that's something that I had to do because that's my profession. Is I'm a writer, but at the same time, like it's important. Like if I'm trying to lose weight, it's important to learn about weight loss, and so that's where like learning about like insulin, testosterone, estrogen, um, gre- uh, ghrelin, the appetite hormone, um, and then cortisol, and all these other things I need to be learning about, and how it interacts with the body, how fasting is good for weight loss, how like learning new recipes for me to like cook food, um, also like how to like budget everything together so I'm saving money. Um, that's also a nice thing about fasting. Fasting is free, so it doesn't. You don't have to buy special kinds of equipment. You don't have to buy something like some kind of like meal plan, or like buy like pre-packaged food at the grocery store, um, or do anything. Like it's just free, and you can do it as long as you want. Um, of course, like the longer you go, you probably should be educated and like have medical supervision when you're doing it. Um, but like a 16-hour fast for me, or sometimes I do 24-hour fast. Like intermittently, I do 24-hour fast, 16 to 18 hours, 18 hours on average. Um, like that's super easy. It doesn't cost me money. And since I don't have to like spend anything like or prepare anything, whatever, it saves time, so I can do stuff that I need to be doing, like writing, editing, thinking about future chapters, what they're going to be about, where the story's going, future books, um, answer comments, um, and things that I had to be doing with my YouTube channel. So I also have a YouTube channel for my web novel. Link is inside the description below. Um, so all this stuff, like I have more time, and then also like while I'm having more time, I know that my body is um, losing weight, and so like I'm able to uh, do two things that are really important to me: weight loss because of my health, and then also my writing. Um, and so I'm able to do both of those at the same time. And so like, or when I'm at work, like when I'm at work, I don't have to worry about fasting. I don't have to ask anybody, be like, hey, like I need to step out. and do something because I'm fasting. Like, no, like I just am fasting while I'm working, and no one has to know about it. I mean, I let people know that I'm fasting, but like, I don't have to tell anybody. It doesn't. I don't have to have like a fancy wristband or like some kind of app that I have to download for my phone, or um, have to like write things down or something like that. Count calories. Like it's super easy, super convenient, and it helps me achieve my goal of losing weight. And so yeah, like I feel like all this is like it's like as I'm trying to lose weight, as I'm writing, like all these things are starting to get connected, and overall I'm becoming a better person. So like not only I probably have like a little bit of fat on my face that's disappearing. My hair is looking better. I really like having long hair, so like it's really important for me to like keep it nice. I don't really do anything special to it, but because of my diet, it looks better. My skin doesn't have like acne or anything like that. Um, like like today was the first time in so long that I was able to, like, when my shoelace came undone, I could just, instead of having to step on something to like reach it better, I could just bend down and tie my shoes. Like, I don't think people understand like how important of an event that is, especially if they're not obese. But like in the past, like I couldn't do that. Like I literally could just bend over and just tie my shoes. If I tried, I'd be breathing heavily. It'd be so much exertion. Um, it'd be just a nightmare. I would always have to like find something to step on so I could like lean in and then tie my shoes. It wasn't really embarrassing because I didn't really care what other people thought. Like I need to tie my shoes. I'm going to do it, and whatever. Um, I'm not hurting anybody when I'm doing this. I usually try to find something that like older people would be stepping on naturally. Um, but like it needs to be done, and so like I'm not gonna worry about it. Like who cares what other people think when I'm trying to tie my shoe. Um, but now like I can just do it. I don't have to like waste time trying to find like something to step on. I can just, my shoelace is undone. I just bend over and I just tie my shoes. Um, Even better is like today like I had to like carry um, a thing of water, like really heavy, but I could do that. Like it was for long distance, a lot of exertion. But in the past, like I couldn't have done that. My arms would just have given out. I would just be like holding it, and then be like just, it would just go down. Um, but yeah, because like I didn't have to worry about that. Like I just get the water case and just carry it. Yeah, it was a little bit hard, but like it was a lot easier than previous times when um I had done that. And so that was, sorry, something popped up on my screen. Um so that was like fantastic. Like I'm seeing so many positive changes in myself, and like this is all because like I've been starting to take weight loss seriously. And one thing that's helping is the fact that I'm making these videos. It really keeps myself accountable. And like I've said in previous videos, like if you're watching this and you enjoy it, like I really appreciate that. I found that building a community and having support really does help with weight loss. And so if you're going through the same thing of trying to lose weight, like put it in the comment below, and I'll try to like comment on it. I don't know if I can give advice because like I'm an amateur. Like I don't know, like even though I'm studying to do stuff, like it's not to the degree where I feel um like I can just give people advice about how to lose weight. I mean, I don't do this for a job. Like I'm just kind of like muddling around and part of it was getting lucky, but like slowly as I'm reading stuff, like it's helping me. But I don't know if I'm worth it to like actually give people advice for how to lose weight. But like just comment below, and like I think like we can try encouraging each other to lose weight, and it'll be kind of cool to like hear about like your progress, like where are you starting at, where do you want to be at, are you going through some kind of diet, like what diet did you find helpful, if you're doing calories in calories out, are you having like really big success in it, or like what are your concerns, things that you're afraid of happening. Um, Mine is excess skin. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But like, I kind of don't hope. Like, I kind of don't want to get excess skin. But I was listening to a podcast with Doctor Doctor Fung, the guy that I've been talking about, like his book. He mentioned like if you're doing intermittent fasting, like excess skin might not be a big boy. And he gave some examples from history of like people who have been like normal, maybe like obese, but then like they were put in a situation where they had to fast, like not intentionally, like they it wasn't out of their own volition. It was kind of forced upon them. Um, and like they didn't have to worry about excess skin. And so like hearing about that, I'm kind of like more relieved about that. But yeah, like just let me know like what your hopes and fears about weight loss, and then maybe we can like kind of encourage one another and try like build a community about that. This is why like I think it's I would appreciate like if people like share this video, because unlike a lot of YouTube videos related to like health and fitness, like I'm someone who is obese. Like if if you look like as you can see, like I do have a belly. See, um, I am like I'm 200 over 260 pounds. I was at 300, so I've lost close to 40 pounds, and so I kind of hope these videos are encouraging, inspirational for like other people to maybe stay on course with their weight loss journey, or else inspire them to start their weight loss journey. And like hopefully like we can form a community to like encourage other people to like try losing weight, because I don't know, like one of the benefits I've already been seeing is like when I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning, my back doesn't hurt as much as it used to. Like it really hurt when I was 300. Um I also like snored really loud, but I'm pretty sure my snoring is like decreasing. It was I'd breathe heavily, like all the time. I'd be breathing heavily. I couldn't even like lay on my back when I'm sleeping, because like my chest felt like the fat was like going into my neck, and so it always felt like there was something on my neck that like made it really hard for me to breathe. And there was just all these issues with like being obese. I don't know if I was like you can consider me as being morbidly obese, but it kind of felt like that. That was like I was already 1 foot inside of the grave. I know like in past years, when I had like a physical, the doctor would be like, "Yeah, you're pre-diabetic," um, and then also like you have hypertension or something like that. So I think that's like high blood pressure. Um, Things that are not good, especially with my family history. Um, and it just worried people, people who knew me and who were concerned about me. They'd be like, "You need to lose weight. Like we're not trying to be mean, but like you need to lose weight. Like it's important." And so, um, I don't know. Like on top of the fact that like I'm a writer, I live a sedentary lifestyle, just like being on the computer and typing up chapters and stuff. Like, um, it really did. I don't know. It was kind of like one event, kind of like got me to like just want to start weight loss, and like just think about how I don't want to be like a stereotypical writer with a writer's body, being like overweight and stuff. Like I want to be back to I had lost before. I went from 200 to like 150 in the past, like a long time ago, and I gained back 150 pounds um, to get to 300 pounds. But like I do miss being 150 pounds. Like there were a lot of like people treat you differently when you're in shape. Like that's maybe that's unfair, but like I mean it's just reality. Like if you're in shape and you look fit, you look like you got your crap together, people are more likely to treat you nicely. It's kind of like a hard truth, but you know, like I'm not gonna shy away from it just because like um it kind of like affects me. And so yeah, like that's why like even though like I ate popcorn today, like I'm really happy that I really limited myself to it. I also like at the movie theater I got a water bottle and I drank water instead of like soda. And um I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of positive changes being done in my life, and talking with friends, they've been really encouraging. Um on Twitter I posted like a 25 some day difference, like because I've been taking pictures quite often. So I'm hoping when I get to 150 I can make like a video to show you guys like the changes from when I was like in like the 280 range down to like 150. I didn't take pictures when I was 300. Like initially I didn't even think about making this YouTube channel. It wasn't until friends like recommended it to me, saying like it might be um a good tool to stay accountable, like have an accountability kind of thing where I'm reporting to you guys like how my weight is going. And so after I have lost like 20 like 10 or 15 pounds, like I decide like yeah sure it might be a good idea to make a YouTube video and be public about this. And then like then I thought about maybe it's a good idea to take pictures, but initially I didn't want to because I was like who wants to see um a fat guy like me without his shirt. um and so like I was pretty negative about it, but I thought like maybe it could be a tool to really inspire people that like some guy who used to be 300 pounds is now 150 and in really good shape, and is using this method, intermittent fasting, to do that, and isn't using like some kind of like buying some kind of like fat burner or like something else like over the counter like GNC stuff. I am taking multivitamins and minerals, so like I do fess up to that, and also fish oil pills, but I think that's kind of necessary. But like the difference between like the I think I remember like some like weight loss drug called like Ally. It was supposed to like expel fat from your body, but ended up like making people have like diarrhea or something like that. I can't remember really. I remember seeing it at GNC one time, and like I heard people tell me that like yeah it causes diarrhea, and so I was like oh like yeah I'm gonna stay away from that. I don't want involuntary diarrhea. Um, and like yeah it was crazy. Like the stuff that I was hearing, I don't know whether it was factual or not, but just hearing about it, I was like, I'm just gonna stay away from it. Like, regardless of whether it's factual or not, like I don't want to chance it upon my body. But like there were other stuff that I used to take for like that supposedly said like you'd lose weight fast and stuff. I get from like GNC or online stores, um, like those online like fitness stores that are like if you take this like you'll lose like 200% fat, like you'll lose it 200% faster than like if you didn't take it. And then I'll spend like and so much money on that. It was such a waste of money looking back at it. I kind of wish I didn't. And now like the method I'm using is like I'm like saving money. I'm not using money. The only money that I'm really spending on is just the multivitamin and then the fish oil, and my gym membership, and that's it. Like I'm not doing anything special. I'm just eating the right foods. Um, I'm going exercising, only with weightlifting. I'm not doing cardio. I'm just weightlifting. I split between the upper and lower body days. So Monday is lower body, Tuesday is upper body, Wednesday is resting day, Thursday is lower body, Friday is upper body, Saturday, Sunday is resting days. I just keep on doing that, and I keep track of it on Google Sheets. And I've shared that information on my Discord, so you can always check that out. And then also, like, I keep track of my weight. I have like a graph that, like, if I remember to like add it, in previous videos I've showed it to you. I also like post on Twitter a lot, um my progress. So like, go check out my Twitter. It's um if you go to my website, you can see all of my social media stuff, and like I post a lot of stuff in my social medias, not just related to my web novel, but also my weight loss journey. um I'm thinking about adding a tab on my website that's purely for weight loss, and it'll have all the episodes for this YouTube channel, where like you can easily click on it and watch. So everything's just like organized in a central place. Um, and so yeah, like, even though I slip up sometimes, like I think I'm on track, and I think that's the important part. Like, I drink plenty of water. Um, I'm getting plenty of sleep. And I feel like I've been more productive. I feel like I have more time on my hand. Um, Occasionally it's hard. Sometimes like friends will like invite me to do something, and it'll be like involving like food that I shouldn't be eating, and sometimes like I don't want to put myself into that position, and so sometimes I say like, nah, like I'm good. Um, we can hang out some other time. But at the same time, I kind of, sometimes I'll actually just hang out, because like I feel like it's not good to like burn bridges with friends, close friends that are like all important in your life. Um, and so I'll just go to it, even though like I know like I'll be tempted, but I'll like try really hard not to be tempted. So sometimes I'll just eat a really big meal, like a 2,000 calorie meal, and then hope that like it kind of prevents me from like eating things I know are not healthy for me. And so, and also just planning things out. Like work is super easy with weight loss, because like I just, either I'll bring in snacks during my feeding window, or else like I'll just not eat. And then when I get back home, I just go sleep, and then like wake up, go to the gym, come back, weigh myself, eat something, go to work. And that's kind of like my schedule for the most part. And so yeah, like, I don't know, like even making these videos, I kind of feel like I'm having more energy, and I'm like more animated. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I think like as I'm seeing progress, and I kind of feel like this could be valuable to like you guys who are watching, if people are watching, um, it might be valuable. But at the same time, it's valuable for me, because I can always look back and watch like, oh, so that was what was going through my mind back when I was at that pounds. So like if I reach 150, I'll have something that I can always look back on to remind myself that like it sucked for me being obese. Like for me, like, I'm not saying for anybody else, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but for me being obese, like it sucked. Like it's super depressing being obese. Like I mentioned, like sleeping habits are hard. Um, Walking up the stairs is hard. Um, like I sometimes get looks from people when I'm walking about, and that kind of sucks. Um, like it's totally different from back when I was like 150. Like if it's night and day, and like it just feels like I'm in a fat suit that I can't remove. And but because I'm learning about this stuff and like getting better, I'm able to give myself the tools necessary to do this, and also maybe help someone else. Hey, if these videos I'm making like helps you um to like stay on track or like start losing weight, if you're in the same position as I am and you're like, I hate um like I don't want to be fat anymore. If that goes in through your mind, and if my videos you can use as a support system, like saying like, okay, like since Neil's losing weight, then I can lose weight too. Um and if like that's how it works, like then that's awesome. Like um I just want to be a positive influence. Um I don't want to be someone who like spreads negativity, and like I want to help people achieve their dreams, specifically for weight loss. Maybe like my writing also, like maybe like if you're a writer, then I sometimes include like thoughts that go to my mind, like how I started writing and all that stuff. I write articles on my website for writers to like help them start becoming a web novel author. So like specifically for web novel author, not for like traditional writing. So like I feel like if I can be like a positive thing for like the two groups, weight loss and writing web novels, then hey, that's awesome. Like who can ask for more than that of like being a positive influence in other people's life, especially for weight, because like there's so many dangers for being obese, like diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or like heart attacks, um, like I don't know if like cancer is related to obesity or what other, but like I do know there's a lot of um, things that can go wrong for being obese. Like even like showering can be hard. Like I've known people who are obese that had like skin issues because of them being obese and not being able to like wash themselves properly, and that sucks. Like, luckily for me, like I use it's a Japanese like hand wash. It's it exfoliates, so like it gets rid of like the dead skin cell from your arm, but like it's really long, so like I can do my back, and I can reach areas that's like really hard for me to reach being obese. But now since I'm slowly losing weight, it's getting easier, and like washing, going to the shower, like is taking less time. It's also taking less time to like when I have to like get rid of stool. Um, like when I was fat, like I'd be like on the toilet for like over 30 minutes. Like I'd have to like read something or like have my headphones on, like my Bluetooth headphones, and like listen to something because like I'd just be on the toilet for so long trying, and then use up so much toilet paper. It's awful. It's such an awful experience. And it's so awkward trying to clean yourself. I know that sounds disgusting, but like that's just the reality of being obese. Like it's so hard. Um, but now since like it's so much easier now. Like I spend not even 5 minutes. Like I'm in and out. Um, and like I barely use any toilet paper now, and it's so much easier to like take care of myself, doing that. And yeah, like there's so many benefits about with it that I don't. If someone had the option to who was obese and they had the option to stop being obese, like with just a snap of a finger, I can't imagine anyone who would say like, nope, I'm good with being obese. Like I enjoy all the difficulties in with being obese. I think anyone would choose to stop being obese if like they just had to like snap their finger. Um, like yeah, like that's kind of how I feel. Like if you feel differently, like leave a comment below. Like if you think this is like what I'm saying is horrible, then like let me know. Like I don't want to, since I don't want to be a negative influence, like and just be a positive one. Like I'm just being open with my thoughts. and my opinions. But like, hey, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then like I can tone it down. And so I have no issues with toning stuff down. Um, like the key that I want people to take away from these videos is just to improve their lives and their living situation. Um, I know like I can't wait until I'm skinnier because like buying clothes is also easier too. If you're obese, like these pants I'm wearing, like I have to buy them on Amazon because like Amazon's the only place I know of that like sells the size for me. Um, I I I think I'm currently wearing like a 54-inch waist, but now that I'm down to 51, I have a little bit excess, and so it's a little bit better. But still, I have days where I kind of feel like um, the my thighs a little feel a little bit tight with the fabric, and like my butt feels a little bit tight with the fabric, and it's super uncomfortable. But like I can't get anywhere else that I can think of. I've been to like the big and tall places, and like it didn't really fit well. And they're either just as expensive or even more expensive than on Amazon. And so yeah, like if you guys are having the same problem, like let me know. Like I'll leave a link to like Amazon where I get my pants from Amazon, and maybe that might help. I mean, I think these are Dockers, and so they're respectable. They're business casual pants, and then suspenders. Oh my God, suspenders are amazing. Like if you're obese and you're not wearing suspenders, like I don't know why you're not. Like wearing suspenders, I don't have to worry about like my butt showing if I bend over. Like that's something that I think all fat people like I me have to worry about of like constantly have to like lifting up the back of your pants, but with suspenders you don't have to worry about that, and it's super easy to like take off, take on, um, and so yeah, like suspenders are awesome. Yeah, sure they look nerdy and they're like out of fashion, but hey, like I'd rather I think people, to be honest, if they had to choose between looking at my butt or like me wearing suspenders, I think they would prefer me wearing suspenders. I think that's no questions, okay? No questions. No one wants to see like um my fat butt right now. Maybe like when I'm skinny, maybe, but that's a whole different story. Um and so suspenders solve that so much. And also like when I'm sitting down, like if you wear a belt, like for someone who's obese, like the belt sometimes it feels like it presses into your stomach, and then that's uncomfortable. That's super uncomfortable. But suspenders, like I have like I can do this. Like I have so much room when I'm sitting down, um, and like I don't feel like anything like pressing into my stomach, and so like I don't know. I think suspenders are awesome. Like yeah, sure you get looks, but if I did like compare all the positives to like the few negatives, like suspenders win every time. Even when I'm skinny, I'll probably still wear suspenders because suspenders are awesome. And I've noticed like at my workplace because I wear suspenders, like some other people have started wearing suspenders too. Probably because like they feel like it's not as socially awkward anymore or as nearly as much since like I've been doing it for like years. Um, People have started like wearing them casually instead of like for events or something like that. They've actually like just come into work wearing suspenders and like not have to worry about it. Um and so I don't know. Like maybe I'm for an obese person, maybe I'm a trendsetter. Who knows? Um but yeah, like I don't know what else to kind of like go over. Like I've kind of mentioned like the whole like water weight, like, and then also like the types of food and how I think like eating healthier, especially on intermittent fasting, is could likely be cheaper than what you're already eating now. So not only do you're eating something healthy, but you're saving money. And so, yeah, like on average, I'm probably hitting around like 1,500 calories, and I'm not even counting calories. Okay, I'm not counting my macros. I'm not. Um, the only times like weighed like the chicken or things because like I was just curious. Like I don't want to make sure I want to make sure I'm not eating too much, but at the same time, like I tend to like eat until I'm full. I try to let my body let me know when it doesn't want food anymore. And when you're the one that's preparing the food, like you're cooking it up, you're like cutting up the meat, you're cutting up the vegetables, you're putting inside the pot, and like you're doing all that stuff with natural ingredients. Like your body will let you know when it's full, and so that really helps me out. Like I couldn't imagine doing calories in, calories out, and counting and calorie counting and all that stuff, all that work. Um, I just like I just make the food and I eat it. And whenever I don't eat, I put inside like a container and I put inside the refrigerator to eat the next day. Um, and so yeah, I'm also saving money because I'm not really going out to restaurants anymore. And overall, like I think it's just overall better. And so um, eating healthy doesn't have to be expensive. And if you're curious, like if enough people like ask me, maybe I'll like make a video where I show like how I make the food, um, because it's super easy. But like if you're also wondering about like different ideas, because I eat tofu and maybe you don't like tofu. I also have like Korean dishes and maybe like you're not too fond about